Welcome to the Ingersöll Show.
Welcome to the show, everybody. This is another episode of the Book Club for all you bookworms out there. On this episode, we're going to be reading some of Meditations by Marcus Aurelius. He was a Roman emperor back in the day. He was born in 121 AD in Rome, Italy, if that gives you any indicator of the time frame we're talking about. He was also a Roman emperor in the year 161 and one of the forefront humans in the Stoic philosophy movement. So let's get to it. Oh, by the way, you can buy this book by clicking the link in the description. It is an affiliate link, so I would appreciate if you buy it from that if you enjoy this episode. Also, the book is $4. It is extraordinarily cheap, and I really, really enjoy this book, and there's a ton of gems in there. So let's dig into it. Page 8. Begin the morning by saying to yourself, I shall meet the busybody, the ungrateful, arrogant, deceitful, envious, unsocial. All these things happen to them by reason of their ignorance of what is good and evil. I like this passage. This is one that Tim Ferriss quotes quite a lot, and essentially what it's saying is like, wake up and just expect people to be shitty. And it's interesting because a lot of people are going to be that way. And also just realize that all of those things happen to them by reason of their ignorance of what is good and evil. So the busybody, the ungrateful, the arrogant, deceitful, envious, and unsocial. Basically, this is saying it's not your fault you're running into these people, and those people are going to exist in your life. So just know that they're there and expect to run into them. And also understand that those things are purely because of their own ignorance as to what is good and evil. They don't know they're being shitty most times. At least you got to tell yourself that, because that'll make you a happier person in the end. That's a very short passage, but I do like that one. And by waking up every morning and understanding that, it will make your day much easier to go through and also to encounter a bunch of shitheads. Page 9. Failure to observe what is in the mind of another has seldom made a man unhappy, but those who do not observe the movements of their own minds must of necessity be unhappy. And so what Marcus Aurelius is saying here is you have to be very tacitly aware of what is in your own head. If one does not observe the movements of their own mind, they of necessity must be unhappy. Meaning that if you're not watching your mind move and understanding where it goes, then you're going to be unhappy. You're just going to allow thoughts to come careening into your brain and tell you all sorts of weird stuff that maybe you don't even actually think. And just separating yourself from those thoughts and viewing them as movements, because you're not your thoughts. By the way, you are you, and thoughts are fleeting, and just let the bad ones go, and when the good ones come around, snatch them up in the net and keep them there. Page 28. In the morning, when you rise unwillingly, let this thought be present. I am rising to the work of a human being. I really like this one for a lot of different reasons, but moreover, I have a hard time waking up. And so just understand that the human being needs to get up, and that is sort of you, but sort of not. You are not necessarily your thoughts. Again, a lot of this stuff is super heady, but what it's saying is you gotta get up because this human meat vehicle that you're carrying around needs to get up and do stuff. And you got to get stuff done. So when you're waking up unwillingly, just let that thought be present. You are rising to the work of a human being. Your mind is working on behalf of your body, of your animal body, of your meat vehicle. And I just thought this one is funny, especially because I have a terrible time getting up sometimes. It also says, why then am I dissatisfied if I'm going to do things for which I exist and for which I was brought into the world? Or have I been made for this? To lie under the blankets and keep myself warm. but this is more pleasant. Do you exist then to take your pleasure and not at all for action or exertion? Do you not see the little plants, the little birds, the ants, the spiders, the bees working together to put in order some separate parts of the universe? And are you unwilling to do the work of a human being? And do you not make haste to do that which is according to your nature? But it is necessary to take rest too. It is necessary. Nature, however, has fixed bounds to this too. She has fixed bounds both to eating and drinking, and yet you go beyond these bounds, beyond what is sufficient. So Marcus Aurelius is going on a total tear right here. This book is interesting because it's not really written like a book. These are pretty much just his journal entries from being a Roman emperor. And so sometimes he just goes off on random tangents that have like run-on sentences and craziness, some of which you just heard right there. And it is interesting. Basically, he's just saying like, yeah, the bee gets up and guess what it does? It does bee shit. It gets up and like, makes honey. And yeah, and they all work together because that's part of their nature. And as a human being, you're also part of nature. And when you wake up in the morning, you are doing the work of a human. Because humans are animals too, people. Humans are animals too. Okay, I'm a little delirious. It's a little bit late at night. But I'm getting this podcast done, and this is a fun book to read, and also just kind of be a little bit ridiculous while we're going through it. Page 37. All existing things soon change. I like this one. I'm not going to read any more of that passage because all existing things soon change. The only constant is change. And this is even back in the year, whatever it is, 160 something, when Marcus Aurelius is writing this. It's the same thing today. Like, all things that exist now will change. And that is in your lifetime. That is in microcosms of your lifetime. That is in the centuries and the millennia that you in human existence has lived forever. And knowing that the only constant is change is very freeing. Knowing that whatever is happening right now can get better, or can get worse, or can end altogether. And that's something that I think about a lot. There is no constant. The only constant is change. So be prepared for change. That's pretty much the moral of that passage. What else do we got? Page 49. In a little while, you will have forgotten everything. In a little while, everything will have forgotten you. Again, Marcus Aurelius has this very unique way of just making you feel insignificant and bringing your attention on how insignificant you are. We get wrapped up in our feelings and in our jobs and in all this different stuff. But what he's saying here is, in a little while, everything will have forgotten you. Right? Like, how many times in the morning do you wake up and you think of Leif Erikson? Or of, George Washington, or whoever. Like, not very often. You know why? Because they're dead, and you will be dead too. And everyone else will also be dead at some point in the very near future, and they will all be forgotten. So, again, his concepts are always very heady and also sort of center around this general theme of just saying, you think you're so important, you think you're so significant, you think, Cindy, your work that you're talking shit is so important right now, but guess what? You're going to be forgotten, and so will Cindy, and so will everybody else in time. Page 61. But it is the power of the soul to maintain its own security and tranquility, and not to think that pain is an evil. So, this is very classically stoic, right? I mean, it's basically saying you are control of your mind and soul. It is the power of the soul to maintain its own serenity and tranquility. It's not in the power of somebody else to give you tranquility. It's in the power of you. Inside your own body, inside your own head, that is the only thing that can give you serenity and tranquility. And Stoicism is very good about sort of pushing forward this principle of having an internal locus of control, meaning that no matter what happens in your life, whether it's positive or negative, you're going to internalize that, and that is the most healthy way to think about things because you are in control of your destiny. You are in control of your future. Nobody else is, and the more and the faster you realize that, and the more steadfast you adhere to that concept, your life will be better as a result. And that's all I'm going to read out of this book for now. These passages were very short, but it is a very good book. Again, it's only $4. Like a $4 book from a Roman emperor from the year 160, whatever it is pretty insane. You can get the book in the link in the show notes and get it. I would recommend it. I would also recommend taking out a highlighter and just sort of highlighting it as you go through it. I really do love this book. So that is all for now. Please don't forget to subscribe to the show, which basically just means open your phone with your face or your thumb or whatever and press the button that says subscribe. And that's all you got to do. And that would help me out a ton. And I really appreciate it in advance for you doing that. And if you have any feedback for me, you can also click the link in the show notes that says contact and let me know what you think about the book club episodes, the AMA episodes, the interviews, or basically anything else. I would love your feedback. If you know anybody that would be good on the show, if you want to come on the show, hit me up. I'm not as scary as I sound. I don't think I sound very scary. And yeah, holler at me. And until next time, I will chat at you then. Peace.